Hey there, welcome to another installment of RadioCastAoE. We are watching another high 1000 range ranked 1v1. It's warkrame in red versus BigUniT in blue. Our red player plays as the Teutons and the blue player is Mongols. This is on Arabia. Game starts in 1 minute. We'll expect to see Mongols getting off to a good start with their hunt bonus. Probably going scouts with our extra HP scouts. Then Teutons will probably take the advantage in Castle H unless the Mongol early game is very effective. Teutons having their extra armor knights and other units as well, but knights is probably the most likely unit the Teutons will go for. And then if the Mongols can survive Castle H, they are back in the lead, so to say, in the Civ matchup with their very strong manga dice in late game. We will see if that is the standard progression that one would expect, or if something completely different happens. Just testing the sound. Yeah, sound looks good. Let's turn off Fog of War, and we can quickly have a look at the map. Nice back gold for our Mongolian player. Secondary gold and primary stone is forward though, so is his closest neutral gold. Berries also a bit exposed, not too bad. The Teuton player is about the same situation, except his main gold is not as tucked in the back as the Mongol. Those things don't usually play that big of a role in an 1000 to 1100 elo game. More so with the hyper aggressive pro play, that you need to be very attentive to the position of the resources. We see the Teuton player 6 on food, now going out with 2 to wood, and the Mongol player doing the same things. The builds are equal. It does not seem like the Mongol player is planning on... Well, it's too early to say, I guess. Yeah, he might actually plan on pushing some ostrich. Yes, he is. He'll be taking advantage of his hunt bonus, also with some ostrich under his TC. Nice for him. Teuton player sticking to sheep and now going out to get a boar. Mongolian player doing what is probably the prudent thing, pushing in 1 ostrich and then scouting with the scout rather than push anything else, and relying on the boar, which is now coming in. Teuton player brought down a nice boar in the middle of his TC area. That's good. None of the players have lost anything to the initial boar, at least. They seem fairly confident in their very early Dark Age play. Mongolian player going out to the mill, and same thing with the Teuton. So it's very similar here. The only thing that separates is that 1 ostrich being pushed by the Mongolian, which makes sense given his bonus. Both players taking no chances on the houses. both on a 25 population limit at the moment, so they built some extra houses. Population is actually quite different. The Teuton player must have slipped up on the villager production, because he is on 15 whilst the Mongolian player is on 18. There's actually quite a significant difference there, favoring the Mongol. Now it seems the Mongolian scout is back, pushing some more deer, and they're also getting a few TC hits off on the Teuton scout, which comes too close to the Mongolian town center. And score-wise, it seems the Teuton player has been scouting more, which makes sense when the Mongolian has been pushing. He is almost 100 points up, but that must be scouting, because like I mentioned, the Mongolian player is already 3 units up, so that'll be villagers up. And there are no kills, just to make that clear. So this is the execution of early game build this comes down to. It seems like the Mongolian player is thinking men-at-arms rush. He's going 2 villagers to gold, 3 to gold actually, and then going up on 22 pop. At least he's doing loom now. Yeah, he has feudal HQ'd. His scout is still pursuing the Teuton scout, and that Teuton scout is almost dead. I think it's 2 hits more, and it seems, yeah, the Mongolian player will reach feudal H 10 percentage points earlier than the Mongolian will reach 10 percentage points earlier than the Teuton, which means his scout will be faster and harder hitting. So if the Teuton is hoping to get away, he has to do it before feudal H hits. It seems he's headed for home now. Let's just, while these 2 players advance to feudal H, let's just watch the scouts chase each other. Mongolian scout is really close, but the Teuton scout is getting close to his TC. So if Teuton garrison in the right moment, yeah, he's actually getting away with, is that 2 HP? 3 HP. So 1 hit away from death, but the Mongolian scout is canceling the chase because he senses, or maybe even sees, the town center. The Teuton barracks is going up, but the Mongolian barrack is already up, and the militia are out on the way across the map. Mongolian scout is trying to deny the barracks. Mongolian players up, and there the Teuton players up. Actually, I think I got that wrong. I think I'm mixing up the players here. The Teuton player actually came to feudal H first, but it doesn't really matter that much. It's very similar. Populations is probably the most interesting right now, keeping in mind that the Mongolian blue player has 3 men-at-arms at the field, on the field. Populations are actually very similar at this point. 23 villagers for both. And Teuton population is actually catching up, with 1 up now in the villager count compared to the Mongolian player. The Mongolian do have men-at-arms cruising around the Teuton's base, but they're not achieving too much. They're struggling to find any targets. A couple of Mongolian villagers also come across the map here. It seems our Mongolian player is planning on a tower play of some sort. He's also walling up at home. So it seems he's trying to put a certain amount... Oh, it's actually a forward archery range from the Mongolian player. This is interesting. I don't know if I like that play. I would prefer to build a range at home, I think. Produce villagers and then walk them across the map. That is, at least in the optimal situation where you maintain production, that is the best way to do it, because the archers can be out faster. The men-at-arms find a kill on the Teuton berry line, and also chases the rest of the villagers away from the berries, so that's pretty good. And now the men-at-arms also find some juicy hits on the wood line, but now they are walking too close to the TC, and it seems the men-at-arms attack, or we could call it a rush, I guess it's fair to call it a rush, is over. Those guys died to the TC, and the Teuton villagers, some idle time was caused. I think we had one death only. However, at the same time, Teuton scouts are inside the Mongolian woodline. The Mongolian player has a spear out. The Mongolian tried to wall, but he did not wall the front of his base, so the scouts walked right on in. However, his spears do clean up the Teuton scouts, so not too bad. Let's have a look at the kill death. The kill death ratio for the Teuton player is 8-6. And he has lost 4 scouts, and the Mongolian player has lost 3 men-at-arms, which means the villager deaths are actually quite similar. I think it's 2-3 if my math is correct. Mongolian is hereby fully walled, and villager populations is 1 up for the Mongolian at this point, 31-29. No one is on the way to Castle Edge yet. The Mongolian is producing archers forward, and still, or it has a decent group, 10 archers at this point. He has 2 ranges and his blacksmith forward, and 2 villagers dedicated to building houses apparently. The Teuton is up score-wise on the Mongolian player, not up to Castle Edge, by the way. That could sound a little misleading, I just realized. But the Mongolian archers are coming out constantly here, it seems. Well, no, it's not constant production, but... or is it? Actually, I'm not focusing on the right player here. It's not constant production from 2 ranges, but it is at least production from 1. And at home, the Mongolian player is still producing villagers. He's currently on 32. And causing quite a lot of idle time from the Teuton player, but apart from that, not too many kills as far as I've seen. Kill death is very close, it's 9-8, favoring the Teuton. So these, how many? 14 archers, 15 archers. They haven't done all that much, but here comes a here comes a tower on the Teuton main gold. The Teuton does have a few skirms and some scouts out, but against this large a force of archers, even skirms do not do that well, at least when they have no upgrades. The archers see the opportunity to get in some villager kills, and now the kill death is... I was about to say it has to be clearly in the favor of the Mongol, but it's actually not. Rather the other way around. No, never mind. It is clearly, yeah, it is clearly in the favor of the Mongol. 22-10, favoring the Mongol at this point. He has Tower up on the Teuton Gold, and this is starting to look a little bleak for the Teuton, I have to say. He has suffered quite a lot of villager deaths, is now on 25 versus 37 of a constantly expanding Mongolian economy. And this is the part of the game where the Teuton players should have started to gain some advantage because of cheaper farms and eventually getting to Castle Age, but instead he's getting his woodline raided by this group of archers, which he has not managed to do much to deter. He's trying to produce skirmishers to counter the Mongolian archers, but it's not really too effective. What these skirmishers have? No, they have no upgrades yet. Of course, they do have 3 pierce armor base, so it's not too bad. If they can catch out a smaller group of archers, they're effective, but against a big block of 16 archers and a couple of skirms, well, it's 14 archers, a couple of skirms, that the Mongolian is now cruising around the Teuton base with, it's not easy. Taking down scouts in one shot, same thing with skirms. So the Teuton player still stuck in Feudal Age doesn't really have an answer to this. There, the Teuton player is in Castle Age. We'll see if he can achieve anything with that. Mongolian player still in Feudal Age, not yet clicked, just producing archers still. Does have a very big, he's catching a big group of villagers out in the open here. They were returning for some reason from far out on the map with gold. They're being saved by the fact that the Feudal Age stuck Mongolian, of course, does not have ballistics, so they managed to dodge those deadly hails of archer fire, but Teuton player loses 2 villagers there, and the 2 survivors move back out. I don't know what they're doing out there. Maybe they're trying to wall. But there, another villager goes down. 4 Teuton skirms take the fight against the 13 units of the Mongolian player and sees that it is not going to go the way for the Teutons, and the Teuton player resigns. So that was a bit of an unorthodox Mongolian play, I guess you could say, starting with men-at-arms rush into 2 forward ranges and just full skirms archer play, mostly archers, and the Teuton had no good answer to that. Tried to make skirms, but never got the numbers up. GG, well played. Take a quick look at the stats, even though I don't think they're all too interesting. This is kind of an offensive style from the Mongolian, so we'll start with the military stats, and we see that he has a very healthy kill-death ratio. 43 kills for the Mongolian player, 14 kills for the Teuton player. Economy. Teuton player does have more food, expectedly, given that he has a farming... Well, the farming bonus doesn't really affect how much food you get, only indirectly in that you can put down more farms, potentially. But more to the point, the Mongolian player was probably putting most of his efforts into food and gold, given that he was building archers, and that is clear from the stats. More than 1,500 more wood and almost 2,000 more gold for the Mongolian. Villager high, 43 for the Mongolian, 31 for the Teuton. And total score ends at almost 3,000 for the Mongolian and 2,000 for the Teuton.